Aeneid, Book 1, 494 to 519. So Aeneas has been in the Temple of Juno in Carthage. He's seen the images of the Trojan War. He's seen his own fame reflected there and the sadness. The interesting part is he ends with Penthesilea, the Amazon, who's struggling with men. It's interesting because at that moment, while these things seem amazing to the Dardanian Aeneas, to the Trojan Aeneas, while he is stupefied. Notice the anaphora. He sticks, having been riveted, having been fixed into one earnest gaze. At this time, Dido the queen, notice the connection of her, the most beautiful in form, walked into the temple with, ablative absolute clause, a great crowd of youths constipating around her. Simile, just as on the banks of Eurotas or through the heights of Cynthus, Diana exercises her chorus, her followers, whom Diana, 1,000 Oreads or mountain nymphs, having followed, throng around her this place and that place. She bears, Diana, a quiver on her shoulder, and walking overtops all the goddesses. That would be the little minor goddesses. And the raptures thrill the silent breast of Latona, her mother. Such was Dido. So, interestingly enough, we see Dido doing man things. She's a queen, but she's a hot queen. She's very beautiful, it says. But she's related to, so Dido is using this simile as Diana. But we had just in the narrative talked about Penthesilea, the Amazonian, who fights like a man but looks like a girl. More so, we also have an image before in the reading of Dido and of Aeneas and Achates finding Venus, the mother of Aeneas, and she's looking like who else? Diana, a huntress. A foreshadowing of what Dido will be, a statement about the character of Dido. How do the Romans feel about a woman being queen? Interesting. Those are interesting points. So, such was Dido. Such, happily, she was bearing herself suchly. That's why the Talmud is referring to say. Such was she bearing herself through the middle guise. Hastening takes the dative with compound verbs to the work and to her future kingdom. So she's a businesswoman. She's all set. Then she sits down at the gates of the goddess, which would be metonymy for the temple of Juno. So notice Juno's in the forefront. In the middle of the dome of the temple. This was seen similar to the Pantheon. Saipta, Dido, of course, fenced in by arms, guys who are carrying weapons, and Subnixa, supported on high on a throne. She was Dabat, she was giving laws, rights, and laws to men, which is interesting. I don't know how the Romans feel about that. And she was equaling out or apportioning the labor of the works in just parts, ablative of manner, or she was a busy girl. She was drawing them by lots. When suddenly, Aeneas sees Antheus and Sergestes approaching, indirect statement clause, with a ablative of manner, great course. These are his two buddies, Antheus and Sergestes. They are found, and he also finds who else? Brave Cloanthus, another Trojan, and the other Trojans, yay, whom the black whirlwind had displaced on the ocean, and had carried them in Penitus entirely to other coasts, probably accusative of limit. At once he himself was again astonished. So he's astonished or he's weeping. That's what we have so far. And again, he himself was astonished. At the same times, Achates, having been struck with joy and with fear, eagerly they were burning to clasp right hands with their buddies. But the unknown thing was disturbing their souls because they don't know if they're going to be friendly, if they're going to be unfriendly. It's a tough one. So they dissimulant, they dissemble, which is another word of deceive, lie. And amikti, circumstance clause, signified by perfect participle passive, having been clothed in the hollow cloud, they conjecture, they wonder what fortune will happen to the men. On what they also wonder on what shore they leave their fleet, and they also wonder why they come, or in respect to what they come. Quid is often used as why. For having been chosen from all the ships, or by all the ships, they were going beseeching forgiveness or favor, and were seeking the temple with a shout. So the Trojans are coming in. Oh, very interesting. We see Dido, we see Aeneas, and we see the Trojans showing up just at the right, pregnant, poetic, and dramatic moment. So what will happen? Will Dido welcome the Trojans? Will she send them on their way? Will Dido turn out to be struck down by these Trojans coming in? Why are there arms nearby? How does Virgil in his readership feel about a queen ruling a country? How does she feel about them being in Carthage, which is hated by the Romans, so much so that they in the Third Punic War, they sowed their lands with salt? All of these and other questions will be answered next time, true believers. Until then, Excelsior!